Yes, good evening. Savva here from Football Heritage TV. Welcome to the new look, the new feel Spurs review. This is episode 47. 47. Tonight I am joined by Marlon from Southview Coys. I want to see how he does without the safety blanket of having Has there on his hand throughout the show. How are you, man? You good?
I am very well, Savva. I'm very well. Thank you for the invite on this new improved Spurs review.
It's only new and improved. Your content is good, right? If you're good as a guest, that's how it's good, right? Okay, so no pressure on you. Stel, welcome back. Spurs Unleashed, now Spurs review. We're really getting into the Spurs debates again. I love it. How are you?
Yeah. Listen, I wish I was like Marlon. I've had a dreadful day, and I'm just saying to you guys now, I was going to actually cancel, but then I thought, actually, talking a bit of football does everyone in the world a good. So good to be on. Good to see everyone in the comments. Let's get the show on the road.
Yeah, absolutely. And there will be a full person. Iggy, Stel's friend in battle, is going to be joining us in a few minutes. He's just at a family do. He's going to be joining us shortly. So before we do anything, please smash the like button. I don't know why YouTubers still have to say it. Smash the like button and go and subscribe to Southview Coys for Marlon, Hass and Ashmatic. And go and subscribe to Tottenham Away. There's so many members of Tottenham Away, though. I'm not going to remember all their names. So just go and subscribe to all of them. And that's a joke. Of course, I know all their names. Guys, before we do anything, I just wanted to show you and show everyone our new intro for the Spurs review. Are you up for that? Are you happy to have a look?
Yeah.
You can absolutely rinse me afterwards, but I love it. It's got a load of granola in it. I'll see you in just 2 minutes. If I can find it. Where is it? There it is. Yeah, there it is, guys. Happy with that? We like that?
Nice.
And for anyone that doesn't know what a winger is, I've just given you about 30 seconds of David Ginola to lick your lips over. So listen, first of all, thank you very much. That video was made by Susie. Susie, who is the silent partner in Football Heritage TV. So big up, Susie. Look, let's get into it, guys. Look, it's been a strange weekend. Arsenal have dropped points. Liverpool have dropped 2 points. Aston Villa have dropped points. Man City look like Man City. And Spurs have got a chance to go 5 points clear of both Arsenal and Liverpool tomorrow. Marlon, let me start with you. Let's have the conversation. Spurs v Chelsea. It's a huge game now, isn't it? Isn't it? Has this more hype on the game? The fact that people around us have all dropped points.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely made it slightly bigger. Like for Spurs Chelsea, it was a big game anyway, right? With the whole situation with Poch coming back, it was always a big game for us. And you know, we don't Chelsea coming to our place has always been a big fixture. The problem now is everyone's going to be asking us. Everyone, all the media is going to be looking at Spurs and going, "Are they serious now? Are they going to be able to capitalize on what's happened over this weekend? We're the last ones to play." And it's a problem fixture for Spurs over the years. I get Chelsea are not the same Chelsea as they used to be, but even when Chelsea were rubbish, we were still losing to them. So it's a case of right now, I think Spurs are going to answer questions for us as fans tomorrow, but also for the media. And I think it's going to set in stone over what we think the next couple of weeks is going to show where Spurs are going to be and how the rest of the season is going to pan out. That is how important tomorrow has become because of the results.
Yeah. Look, I mean, he's not wrong, Stel. He's not wrong. Tottenham fans are well and truly in this "we are winning the league" mode. Whether they're saying it or not, everyone now is going, "Oh my God, they've dropped points. Hang on, if we win tomorrow, we go top of the league, and then we won't lose again for 5 games, and City are going to drop points here and Arsenal there." Is tomorrow just another game, or from your point of view, does the dropping of points from like Brighton as well, Brighton, Villa, Arsenal, Liverpool, or is it just far too early for there to be these connotations attached to one game?
Yeah, so I kind of agree with Marlon, but there's a little bit I don't agree with. So I agree what he says about, let's see what Spurs are made of. Let's take advantage. But the thing is, we said that after 8 games. And then we said, right, here comes the litmus test of Arsenal, Liverpool. And then we got through that. And then it's like, well, okay, now you got Luton away. This is where it gets Spursy. This is the kind of game we draw. Let's see what they're made of. We went there, got the result. And then we had those 2 back-to-back games, Fulham and Crystal Palace. And everyone said, right, this is it now, Spursy. Let's see what they're made of. It's almost like we keep kicking the can down the road. And every time we kick the can down the road, it's not 8 games, it's not 9 games, it's 11, then it's 12, then it's 15. At some point, we've got to stop, I think, as fans saying, well, now's the time, let's see what I think we've kind of done that already to an extent. Mm-hmm. The way I look at tomorrow's game...
Is it like we're waiting for it still? Is it almost like, well, this is going to be the game that we slip up? Oh, well, if it's not this week, it's definitely next week, right? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, and exactly. And we're kicking the can down the road for when Spursiness comes in. But the thing is, it hasn't come yet. Mm-hmm. And the way I look at tomorrow's game isn't so much, right, let's go and prove ourselves. The way I look at it now is every time a team around us drops points, if we win, we're opening up a gap, whether it's 2 points, 4, 5. And all that does for me, it doesn't mean, right, we're pulling away. The way I look at it is this. We can afford to start losing a game or 2 because we've built up the buffer. So I'm looking at it now. Can we build a gap? So if we go away to Man City in a couple of weeks and lose, if we go to Wolves on the weekend and draw, do you know what? It's okay because we've earned the right for that to happen now. So that's kind of slightly where I have a different thought process than what Marlon explained. But I think Marlon probably agrees with me anyway on that. So that's how I look at Tuesday's game. Can we now pull away a little bit from the Liverpools, from the Arsenals, from the Villas who lost as well? Aston Villa lost. They're rivals for top 4. And can we afford to maybe lose a game or 2 when VAR does screw us over? When it comes to our turn, can we afford to take that hit, right?
Iggy, welcome to the show. How are you?
Big up. Well, guys, how you doing?
We're good.
Big up to everyone in the chat as well.
We're good, yeah. Big up to everyone. And smash the like button. If you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe to these wonderful guys as well. Savva, Coys, and Tottenham away. Iggy, I'm going to chuck you straight in. We're talking about, obviously, all of the results this weekend that have gone our way, if you would like to put it that way. Stel is now so confident that we're winning the league that he's saying we can actually lose games now and still have a buffer to win the...
That's exactly what I said. Exactly.
Yeah. Mate, it's YouTube. It doesn't matter what you actually said.
Yeah.
The words were all there somewhere.
It's coming home. It's coming home.
Chelsea at home. Has this game just got bigger because of Liverpool, Villa, and Arsenal all dropping points, or is it just the same for you as it was at the beginning of the weekend?
No, nothing's changed for me. It doesn't. What happens around you only matters if you do what you meant to be doing. You know, if you don't win, if you don't do what you're meant to be doing, it doesn't matter what goes on around you, because if you go and lose your game, then everyone's gained really on the back of it. Arsenal's defeat won't matter as much. Do you see what I mean? So for me, nothing has changed. Spurs have still got to do what we've got to do. The difference is last week we played on a Friday, so we sat back and watched everyone else play after us. This time it's us that's got to wait, having watched everyone else play, and tomorrow's going to be a little bit special in the sense that obviously Pochettino is coming back and all of that, and I'm sure we'll get into that afterwards, but nothing has changed. We've got another London derby to face after Crystal Palace and Fulham, and this one's obviously a little bit bigger, and we got to do what we got to do. And that is get 3 points no matter what. And I think it's going to be a tough game tomorrow night. I don't think it's going to be a walkover or anything like that. I think the players will put it in for the manager that's returning to his old club. There's no two ways about that in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, this is the interesting thing, isn't it, Marlon? So far, for the last however many games since we battered Burnley, every prediction is like, oh, it's 5. We're scoring. It's Luton 5, Sheffield United 5. You know, oh, it's Palace 5. People are doing it. Not all fans. Some fans again getting, oh, Chelsea have got nothing to worry us. You know, Chelsea are rubbish. Are Chelsea that bad, or are they just a team that are playing well that can't finish their dinner? What do you make of them, Marlon?
I said from day dot, and I think I said on the show a few weeks back that this was the result. I thought we were going to drop points in. I said all the rest will get through. I said Chelsea.
So
and
negative.
I know, but I still think it. What worries me about Chelsea is they played well against Liverpool and should have won, and they played well against Arsenal and should have won. It's against the crap teams where they've dropped points, and my worry is that they're going to turn up tomorrow and play, and that's the only thing. And I don't think we're going to be quite ready for what's going to come at us, because they're not going to open up like the rest of the teams. They're not going to sit back like we've struggled against recently, but they're not quite going to sit back either. And I think it's that happy medium where I think we might struggle, because especially it depends on your Udogie as well. If we've got our full strength team, I'm going to be less worried, but I've always said this was the game. I think Poch knows some of the players as well, and he wanted to come back in the summer. Let's make no bones of it. He wanted to come back, and he was doing research on most of our players, right? So he's blatantly probably done an extra bit on Spurs already. So I think he's going to know us slightly better. And I think what's probably happened over the last few weeks since he didn't get the job is that he's been watching Ange and everything like that. I just got this strange feeling that he'll pick up something tomorrow, and because of how desperate they are to pick up points.
Nah. Yeah, I mean, Stel, look,
I just got this feeling. I haven't shaken it since probably the Liverpool game, and I've said it since then. Chelsea was the first game I said we'll drop points in.
Guys, do we agree with that? I mean, look, there's the narrative going around, isn't there, that it's written in the stars. Pochettino, we didn't want him back. He's going to come back and he's going to inflict our first defeat. Others see it that, well, we're going to inflict another defeat on Chelsea and he's going to be up against it. Which way is this going?
Spurs are going to beat Chelsea tomorrow. Liverpool and Arsenal was at Stamford Bridge. They're coming to N17 under the lights on a Monday. Our home turf, our atmosphere. We will be up for this one. Believe you me. Players, manager, and fans. Ange is not going to want to lose to the most popular manager we've had. He's going to want to be the popular manager, right? And I just think, they're going to give us a game. I agree. They're definitely going to surprise everyone with the way they play again. I think it's going to be a really close game, but we will win it. We will just win it. Because for me, the 12th man is going to get us over the line for this one. And plus, we are a good team when we get going. We are a good team. About Poch doing his research on us. Most of those players he did his research are probably gone now. Hugo's gone dire. Davies don't play. Harry Kane got sold. It's practically a brand new midfield. In comes Van der Ven to play next to Romero. Udogie plays for us. So I think it's a different team to maybe the one he researched. So, listen, I get where Marlon's coming from because I think there's a lot of Spurs fans that feel that way. I think there's a lot of Spurs fans that think, oh no, this is the one, isn't it? It's all written in the stars. For me, I'm not having it. I'm not having it at all. And I'm normally
you be
always,
positive and I'll be negative.
Marlon, very, very rarely do I say we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. But for this one tomorrow, we're gonna do it, man. I know we're just gonna only just.
Can I tell you, Iggy's face, when you're saying that, Iggy's face is the face of someone who's like, I've been here before. We've been here before, and we've been this confident.
I said,
Iggy, am I wrong?
There's no reason why we can't do it. There's no reason. At the end of the day, there is no reason. We've not shown signs of a team that has had a turn, so to speak, or anything like that. But those surprises are always around the corner. Like I said, it's a London derby. It doesn't matter who Chelsea are playing last week, they played last week or next week. At the end of the day, the derby's, it's a big game for both of us. They need points. We need to keep marching on. So this is decided on a lot of factors. Look, at the end of the day, look at the latest. How many games have been decided through refereeing decision, VAR decisions? A lot of that is happening, and who's to say that something like that ain't going to happen tomorrow night? Because the big games, there seems to be more scrutiny around this sort of things, and it's going to be the only game played tomorrow night. So that's even more going to be highlighted. And you look at all these factors, and I don't even know who's refereeing tomorrow night. So you got to look at it, what they're going to bring to the action. But look, I'm sure one thing, that for as long as we have our strongest 11 bar 12 players available, I will take this Tottenham team to go up against any team in the country and do what they got to do. Now, they may win, they may not, but I'm confident that we will play our way and we will carry on playing our way against whoever, and be confident going into those games that we can do very well. But I don't want to be dismissive of our opposition. It's as simple as that. I think people way too much chess saying we're going to beat every team 3-4-5-0. I think that's just done. But I also say that I understand fans, because they're on the ride at the moment, on a wicked vibe, and they're just like, they're going in with the thought and process in their head. We're going to thump everyone. This one's a little bit different, though, man, because it's got so many factors around it, and it's beautiful because these are the tests also where we're at, because everyone's saying we've got these results, Savva, we've got this, we've beaten this, we haven't played anyone. How many times have you heard of Tottenham have played 9-10 games, we haven't played anyone? So these games are coming thick and fast now. We're going to find out who the real Tottenham Hotspur are when we've played the likes of Chelsea, Newcastle, all Man City. All these games are all coming up. We'll find out where Tottenham are at that point.
Yeah, I mean, guys, look, we don't have to go around in a circle. We just have a general chat here. I mean, just a couple of points. Joe, big up Joe, a channel member, said, what is the difference this time? We haven't played well. And I'm going to tag on to that. Chelsea have only lost one of their last 6, by the way. Chelsea have lost 1 of 6. So it's not like, I don't know whether or not the defeat against Brentford last week has got everyone thinking that they're worse than they are. But in that time, they've kept 4 clean sheets. They've won 4, drawn 1 to Arsenal, and then lost the game to Brentford. Are they as bad as we think? And Marlon, are we as good as we think? Like, to Joe's point, what is different this time? Have we played well? Are Chelsea as bad as we think?
That's a very tough question. No, look, we haven't played well over the last few weeks. We've grinded out results in a situation where I think last year we probably would have lost, right? Palace, we had a good spell, scored twice, but we actually beat them last year. Who did we have before that? Fulham again.
Beat them last year.
It was 2 mistakes really that we kind of went into and actually got the job done. So I wouldn't say we've been playing brilliant. I think Burnley was probably the last game where we actually played really well. But the rest after that has been kind of, and Arsenal. But the rest has been kind of like, this has been getting through the motions kind of scenario. But Chelsea, I think it's away from home is my biggest worry. at the moment, because actually, if you look at their results away from home, they're better than their home fixtures. And as Stel said, they had Chelsea and Arsenal at home, but actually, we haven't seen them away against the top 6 sides. So it's going to be very, very interesting. And I think that's the key part, actually, is actually seeing them up against the top 6 side away and not one of the average sides.
Marlon, just to say, a lot of people are saying they haven't got anything to hurt us. In the last 6 games, they've averaged 2 goals a game across their 6 games. So it's not too dissimilar. I'm not saying they're as good as us before anyone thinks that, but it's not too dissimilar from what we're doing. They've got 11 goals in the last 6 games. And I think that's the exact same number we've got in our last 6 games as well. So have they got more to hurt us than we think they have? Or are we literally just going by because they're not battering teams? Where does it lie?
Guys, I think we're underestimating us as well a bit here. We've got arguably right now one of the most informed goalkeepers in the league. We've got arguably the best or second, third best defensive partnership in the league. And with Basuma not having to worry about the yellow card now because he's arrived at the Chelsea game, we've got arguably one of the best players in his role in the league. Plus Maddison, who's signing of the season, Son's scoring every game. I think we're underestimating us here as well. Like, have Chelsea come up against a team like us in the current good spirit, confidence that we have? You could say yes, Arsenal, but let's be honest, Arsenal were awful in that game. Yeah. Arsenal haven't been quite right this season. I hear a lot of Arsenal fans saying we lack fluidity, we lack creativity, and I kind of agree with that. I think with us, even when we're not playing well, we're still creating. We're still creating opportunities. We're just not taking them. So I get where we're going with this conversation, but I think and listen, I am being positive here. It sounds all crazy, right? But I do think we're undervaluing us at the moment as well. We're kind of underplaying ourselves. Maybe we're just too scared to be confident about Spurs because that's just what we're used to, right? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Iggy, look, I'll disagree with Stel that I don't think I'm undervaluing us. I just think that, you know me, I like to sit on the fence and have a look at, before we sit there and go, they've got nothing to worry us. Fulham worried us. And if Fulham had better players, they would have scored goals. Palace got at us. Luton got at us. Burnley got at us. So I just don't buy into this that Chelsea have got nothing to hurt us. That is my concern.
I don't agree with that.
You said that.
Savva, I agree with what you're saying there. I'm not underestimating Chelsea, by the way. I'm not saying that either.
Yeah. No. I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying. Iggy, I mean, have they got something to worry us? And
They've got good midfield. I like their midfield. I've always liked their midfield.
Yeah.
They've got really, really technical players, man. Listen, I like their way. I think they have a good team. They're better than what they are. They should have been out of sight against Arsenal. I saw that. That's the last time I saw Chelsea play, was against the Arsenal game. They should have been out of sight. Poch actually cost them that game. I'm sorry to say. I thought his changes ultimately was unfortunately it didn't work out, and they allowed Arsenal back in the game. Yeah. But I thought they were good that day, and I thought their midfield was really good. I think the defense, the keeper as well is a bit suspect. I don't think the keeper's having the finest of moments. So he looks like he's always got a mistake in him. So, but listen, overall, I think you're right. They lack a bit of firing power in the centre forward. They haven't quite got that number 9. Same thing as Arsenal, really. They've got that same issue. But I think they've got really, really good crop of players. And I think Pochettino will require maybe a little bit of time, maybe 1 or 2 additions, especially in that forward line. But I think they're a team on the up. I think they've turned the corner from the beginning of the season, and I just think they are in need. And I hope it doesn't come tomorrow. But moving forwards, I think if they can get a big win somewhere, away to us, or perhaps in the next home big game, a next big top 6 rivals, if they can get a couple of big results, I think they'll turn the corner. I really do believe that. But that's why I'm saying, like, I'm still confident in Spurs. I'm not saying I'm not. I think, well, you're right. Tottenham under the lights on a Monday night, the crowd. Listen, we're going to have an absolute. That place is going to be rocking. It's been rocking all season, and we have more than about us to go and get a result. But I think we are up against a good side, who I don't think it's going to be a walkover. If it is, then I'm happy to be mudded over here, no problem. But I'm just giving you my sensations.
Absolutely. And look, guys, I was going to say the last bit on the two teams, so to speak, before we move to another topic, I actually think they've got a really good midfield. And I think this is going to be the biggest test for our midfield so far this year. So I think in the games before Brentford, the 4 games before that, they started with Enzo Fernandez as kind of like the quarterback in there. I think he's a wonderful player. Caicedo's starting to pick up some really good form. And then they had Gallagher at the front of that 3, who's really stood up this year and working hard, driving forward, goes and joins in. I think that's going to be a really good matchup, Marlon, against our midfield 3 of Sarr, Madison, and Basuma, because there's a lot of hard workers in that 6 that we just mentioned.
No, of course. And like I watched Chelsea against Brentford, and to be fair, they should have been out of sight. They had 17 shots on goal.
I know, yeah.
2 on target. That just sums up the game for them and sums up their season, right? Yeah. And you could get to a point tomorrow is if they finish their chances, which we've been quite lucky, a lot of teams haven't, they could end up, hurting us. But at the same time, one thing I do agree with Stel with, I trust our defense. I do trust like Van der Ven and Romero, and you got Chelsea that's misfiring all over the place. I just think that we might, and he's convincing me slowly, we might have slightly too much in that sense. It's that left back situation right now I'm a bit worried about. Because
who would have thought this? Stel bringing Marlon to the positive side of the table. I like this. Is
still a doubt?
He hasn't been even none of the pictures either. So he's the doubt. But I'm hoping one thing, and I'm hoping what Iggy said is correct. They need one big result. But I'm hoping it's next weekend when they play City. So and not against us.
I would say this: that
the
side
is strong. The force is strong.
No, it's not. If Udogie doesn't start, and assumingly it's not going to be Davis, but it will probably lean more towards Emerson at left back, which is what we played last week. And Richarlison in front of him, that left side, that chain needs to be sorted out.
Richarlison can't start for me. Honestly,
we'll get to it. That is a topic.
I've just lost all my confidence off that one word.
It's a good point you make, Iggy, because the thing is, if we are looking at Emerson Royale at left back and Porro at right back, and like we saw, Porro has been dribbled past more than anyone else. That for me is where Chelsea can potentially get at us. I was saying this earlier on. If you've got Sterling, who you don't know what you're going to get with Raheem Sterling, he either looks world class or he's not in a game. You know, there seems to be no kind of in between with him. And Mudryk, if he's fit, was starting to pick up a bit of form before he got his injury. He was starting to pick up form and running at fullbacks. He'll fancy his chances running at Pedro Porro. So that for me, I trust the defense in terms of Van der Ven and Romero, but the 2 fullbacks, if it is Royale and Porro, I do think that is going to be where Poch will tell them.
They're stronger than us in the wide areas. They're stronger, undoubtedly. For me, they're stronger than us in the wide areas.
Sterling
I think Mudryk and Sterling are better than Kulu and Richarlison.
Agreed.
I think they are. You've got to be honest and say that's one area that, and you look at the 3 against 3 in the middle. I think that's where the game's going to be won and lost. In all honesty.
Yeah, Madison for me is the key here again.
It's the difference between the 2 sides, 100%.
For sure.
Yeah,
because they don't have that. They don't have. I don't think they have that in their final third.
No,
so
you're right. They do have what they do have, guys. A player I really like is Cole Palmer. I think he's a really good footballer.
He's a brilliant footballer.
Quality, man.
I'm just glad they haven't got on Kunku. But listen, I still think we should win. But I just don't go along with this. Oh, it's Chelsea. They're rubbish. We're brilliant. And everything's going to be 4-5-0. I just don't go along with that. Guys, I want to move on to the next topic, which is, we're going to get to Pochettino in a minute because that's causing some controversy for some reason. I don't know why, but it is. I know, but it is. Come on, it's the internet. Come on. It is this. And I'm not going to start with Stelios because I'm going to just leave this festering within his mind. Iggy. I'm going to come to you last, Stel. Iggy, Brennan Johnson's fit now. It's been a long time since he had the injury and then had a couple of weeks over the international period to get over it. He's since come on, made substitute appearances. Are we going to see him start tomorrow over Richarlison, or do you keep a winning team? What's your feeling on this?
In a game like tomorrow, where there's a lot of technical ability about, I'd be more inclined to start with Johnson. I just think it's the technical level is going to be so high, and I don't think Richarlison is going to be able to listen. He struggles with it at the best of times, but I think tomorrow, I think it will show up a little bit more. If I have to pick the two, I would go with Johnson, just because he's more of an elite player, man. You saw the difference he made coming on against Palace, and how quickly he became involved in that goal that Son scored. You just don't get that sort of quality from Richarlison. And like I said, having him and potentially, listen, I think if Udogie doesn't start, I think he will play Davis more than Emerson.
Davis is
Isn't
injured.
Davis injured? I think
He's
Davis
injured.
is injured, isn't he?
Injured,
He's injured as well. So there you
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
We're really down the bones on that. That's
Yeah.
And this is the importance of not signing a centre back, an extra centre back in the summer. You would have been able to have played him and have moved Van de Ven on the left hand side.
Yeah.
But we don't have that situation. But there's no point. There'll be plenty of time in January to get into that one. But but right now, this is the predicament that we're in right now. But for me, out of the two, I would go with tomorrow night. I would go with Johnson. No two ways about it.
Yeah.
And by the way,
Marlon,
I don't like what Mr. More than Pochettino, I don't like what Yasis posted on Twitter.
we're gonna
Love is blind. I mean,
we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get
riled me up.
We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that. Marlon, 2 weeks ago I sat here and Stel assured me with all of his, I trusted him that Richarlison's not going to start anymore. He's not starting anymore now that Johnson's here. Next game, there he is again. And he was absolutely, just joking, Stel, he was absolutely awful against Crystal
Wasn't that
Palace.
Johnson's first game back?
Yeah.
Palace,
Yeah.
Right, so it starts on Monday, Savva. Right?
It starts on tomorrow. Okay.
No,
So when Richie starts tomorrow, we can then you're in the mud, right?
I'm going to walk out the stadium.
Yeah. Look, Marlon, it's got to be Brennan Johnson, isn't it? I mean, Richarlison is working hard. I'll give him that. He is working hard, but this isn't the school. This isn't the playground where you go, oh, he worked hard. This is the Premier League football. Like, surely he can't start again, can he?
I'm not a big Richarlison fan, but I think I'm going to say it. Right? I'm going to say it. I think he should start tomorrow. And my reasoning behind it is exactly what you just... I think it's too early for Brennan Johnson to come in and start 90 minutes. I really do, after the injuries to come back from, right? So I've got a strange feeling that what Ange's going to do is keep Johnson as a safety blanket towards the end, like he did against Palace, and see what Richarlison wasn't that I know people are going to say he wasn't that bad against Fulham. He wasn't great, but I just think because of his work rate and depending on who is at that left back position, I just think he's going to go with Kulu and Richarlison just for the work rate and see what Chelsea have, and then he tweak it in the second half. And that's the reason why I would start Richarlison, just for that, because he'll break up a lot of things as well. He'll be in their faces. He'll be up for this as well. Let's be honest. Richarlison's going to be well up for this, and he'll be that sort of player that I know he doesn't have the talent. I know he doesn't. I don't like him. You could go on my other shows and see. I really don't like him. I want him gone. But
Doesn't sound like that.
But I just think tomorrow is the sort of game where I'd go put him in, see what he does in that first half, and then think about changing it in the second. That's just me. But I'll let Stel rip into it and
strategically it makes sense because doing it the other way around, if it doesn't work out with Johnson, then you've got to bring him on.
Yeah.
And you don't want to end the game with Richarlison.
So let me get this right. Strategically, you two think we're better off starting with 10 men on the pitch.
No. I was very clear. I was very clear on what I will do tomorrow. Yeah. I said it from the off. I'll start Johnson, but I understand what he's saying. I
don't understand anything about him starting. Right, he works hard. The basic entry-level remit of a footballer is to work hard, right? If any player doesn't work hard tomorrow, we're in trouble. Listen, he's not good. He doesn't do anything. Do you know, someone sent me a stat a couple of days ago because I was just doing what I normally do and have a go at Richarlison. They said, you do know he's got 3 assists. I looked at his assists. They're all 5 meter passes to the right, and then it's so good. The player who receives the ball then has to dribble, take on a man, and then score top corner. It's like they've just done all the work.
Yeah.
Kulu gets a pass off Richie, beats the centre back, top bins against Sheffield United. Hyun-Min Son against Fulham receives a 5 meter pass from Richie, beats the centre back, curls it top bins. What's Richie doing? What's he actually done? Right? But everyone will look at his assists. I'm like, look, for me, I think we've become like Arsenal fans. We just can't admit we've bought a dud. They've bought Kai Havertz. We've bought Richie. We've both absolutely shot ourselves in the foot. It's an expensive mess. We both shouldn't have done it, but we're just clinging on to the hope that he might turn good. So we're trying to find any positive.
He say he'll play well.
He's holding us back. And do you know what? If he scores a header on Monday, Stel's in the mud. You see, look how good. I don't care. I'd much rather Johnson start because at least the boy can play football. I've seen more from him in the cameos he's played, the 3 or 4 cameos to say, do you know what? He is clearly a far better football player that impacts us. And I think Richie just isn't Ange-ball, is he? He doesn't suit the system. Like, you know, when we played Crystal Palace the other night, I was saying, he'd be brilliant for Crystal Palace. All those crosses and corners and set pieces into the box. That's a Richie system. Get in your face. Let's be a bit bullyish and try and score from a set piece. The way we play, it does not suit him at all.
The technical level of our team has gone high. It's from last season to this season. It's gone far higher. So what's happening is, whilst it's exposing the good players that can do it, it's also exposing the players that can't. And the difference between the two is great.
Exactly.
And it's clear to the naked eye.
You're spot on. You saw Ben Davies the other night. He came on awful. Yeah. He could not play this football. He can't receive the ball.
He can't play left back. He can't play left back anymore. I mean, I know left centre back, a little bit more less exposed for him. But at left back, I mean, if he's up against a player, let's say tomorrow night he's up against Sterling or the other fella on the other side, whichever, if they change over, it'll get exposed. And that's the one thing you must do is always put your players in a situation where they can express themselves for their strengths. Once you put them out there and you're exposing with their flaws, you're screwed.
Iggy, I will say, right, to slightly defend Richie and back up Marlon just a little bit, I don't mind if it's 1-1 or 1-0 to Chelsea or we're drawing and 20 minutes to go, Richie comes on, because I don't think he's awful as a sub to give us that boost of energy, maybe get his head on the end of a cross, because he's proven he's not too bad at that. But to start, I just think we're on the back foot with him. I just think we struggle with
the difference. When you have an impact player coming on with 20 minutes to go, the shackles are off. The tactics are pretty much out of the window, depending on the scoreline. But at the beginning of the game, the tactics are key. The movement is key. Making the right decisions are key. So when I'm thinking of all these things, elite players come alive. He's not that player. He doesn't make key decisions. He doesn't make always the right moments. And I just think that we're exposing that left side, that without Udogie there, that side we'll have to come up with something.
He's clumsy.
This is why I don't think it's a set in stone. I think a lot. Look, again, we're going into the game tomorrow, and I'm sure. Well, you might disagree with me. It is very much going to be all down to Maddison and Son again. It is. That's where our creativity is coming from, and that's where our finishing is coming from.
More importantly.
Yeah. So for me, I think that if you're now looking and saying, okay, what if Emerson, Royal, and Richarlison are our left side? For me, that is bottom half Premier League left side. Emerson, Royal, and Richarlison. That is what I would expect to see from a Crystal Palace. That is what I would expect to see from Everton.
Yeah.
So then it puts a lot of pressure on the right-hand side and Kulu's not exactly setting the world alight in terms of worrying people. So I do think it makes a bit of a level playing field. Brennan Johnson, though, the reason why I bring him up, and by the way, before I do say this, keep smashing the like button, people. We should be on well over 200, 250 likes by now, only on 128, and we should be getting 5 to 6 subscribers in the next couple of minutes. So I'm going to put that link in the chat. Subscribe to Tottenham Away. Subscribe to Southview Coys as well. Come on, one Tottenham community. Subscribe to everyone for all the different views. Look, Brennan Johnson, the reason I say this, he was our number one signing. Let me start that again. He was Postecoglou's number one target. And if you are going to bring him in, and he was the one that we brought in after Kane went, I'm not saying it's like for like. We know it's not like for like. But if you're bringing him in and you're not dropping him into these sort of games, that worries me. Like, he came on against Fulham. He came on against Palace. I want to see that. I want to see why we bought him. I want to see why we spent half the Harry Kane money, if you will, on Brennan Johnson. I just don't want to see Richarlison. I know Stel's with me on this. I don't ever want to see Richarlison in a Spurs shirt. Ever. Even if we're playing Cray Wanderers, Paper Mill, whatever, who played against Charlton today. I don't want to see him play.
But
sorry,
Brennan Johnson might have not fully recovered from his injury, and I think that's the only issue that I see for tomorrow. That he's easing him back in instead of rushing him back in.
How long does it take?
I don't know.
How long does this take?
It's our medical team. It could take forever. Right?
We haven't played for 10 days, and he came on and played.
He should have 60, 70 minutes. Even if he doesn't have the full 90, you'd expect to get him out there for more than an hour. I'd expect that. He's sad. Otherwise, he wouldn't be available to play. If once you become available to play, when he's come back from injury, and he's been back a little while now, so he should be there, ready to go. At least for an hour or 70 minutes, and then
you hope. And this is the thing. I mean, this is like, we can all speculate and we'll say what not, but we don't know, like, really realistically how, because he might be that's why he's only come on a sub in those games, because that's all he can put out for the time being. So he might not be able to put an hour yet. So we really
Marlon,
don't know.
tell me please, this isn't one of those occasions, is it, where you've got a manager that loves a player? None of the fans do, but you've got a manager that loves a player, plays him week in, week out, no matter what happens.
No.
We're not starting to see that, are we?
No. I just think he's got no choice to play Richie at the moment, and that's down to.
No, he's got a Spanish whiz kid on the bench as well. Don't forget him.
But there's another possibility. What he might start instead.
Look at Stel's face when I mentioned him.
But I'd rather Brian Hill started than Richarlison.
But
I'd rather Brian Hill started.
He might go with that. See,
At least Brian Hill, the one thing Brian Hill can do, we know technically he can play this football. That's his game. Yeah. I'm not saying he's brilliant. I'm not saying he's the best thing ever, but tactically and technically, he's very good. But for me, it's how many times a move breaks down on Richarlison. It's almost getting to that bit where I'm embarrassed. Do you know what I mean?
So the question should really be: is it Brennan Johnson, Richarlison, or Brian Hill? Because we haven't thrown him into the conversation at all, and he's probably been back slightly longer than Brennan Johnson. And hopefully, why can't we see Brian Hill out there instead of Richarlison? Because at the present moment, it's not working for Richarlison. We all know that, and he's only been in the team because we've had nothing else.
I don't think Ange fancies Hill, Marlon. I don't either, and that's why he's been playing Richarlison. And I've got a feeling tomorrow, like for me, physicality. I think he worries about his physicality.
Yeah. And I think tomorrow he goes with Richarlison. And nobody will like it, but I think he does go with it. Unfortunately for us.
I just want to get, before we move on from Richarlison, guys, by the way, this is shocking. There's 385 now in here and only 123 likes. Sort this out. These are Richarlison conversion rates, okay? Just we're talking about Richarlison, doesn't mean we've got to play like him. All right. This comment, I keep hearing this, Stel. I'm gonna start with you. I'm gonna come to you because this is I feel like I'm gonna get the most backing from you on this. The number of times I've heard this in Richarlison's 46 games for Spurs where he has failed to score with his feet. Let that sink in. 46 games as a striker, he has not scored a goal with those things at the bottom of his legs, right? And it's always, when he clicks, when he gets into form, if he starts, when are we going to learn that's just not his game? He's just not a good goal scorer. Why are we still hoping this?
This is like saying, I approach 10 women in a nightclub every night. They all reject me. It's a matter of time before I become Casanova.
Yeah.
It's a matter of time before they all say yes. All right?
Yeah.
It's okay. Look, he gets in the right positions because that's where he plays, in the forward line. So chances are going to drop to him, just like chances drop to Kulu, chances drop to Son. When you play up front, they're going to come to you. If Richarlison played further back, those chances wouldn't come to him, like Basuma, like Pape Sarr. Those chances don't come to them as much. Or Porro. So the reason the chances dropped him isn't because he's in the right position. It's because that's what he's supposed to do. Players are forward, so chances do drop to the forward players. He doesn't even hit the target. My biggest issue is he doesn't even hit the target. And when you forget the fact he's £65 million as a Premier League football player playing in the elite level of football, you've got to hit the target. Okay, he misses one, he misses two. He's missed every game I watch this guy. And I just feel like, do you know what? Your confidence isn't there. Your technique isn't there. You don't have self-belief. I just think he knows that he's at the wrong club. Like, this isn't for him. And that's a tough place for him to be. I don't blame him because we signed him. We're the ones that went and scouted him and spent 65. It's not his fault. But like I said the other day, you saw the way Palace played and I thought, blimey, do you know what? Richarlison could do all right for them. He's the wrong type of player for our way of football. And that's the point I'm making with him. I don't think he's absolutely the worst thing I've seen in my life.
I do.
He doesn't suit us. I thought I'd be partly nice. But
no, I'm not.
I don't rate him.
Nice,
he's not...
Richie,
I don't like watching him play. When I'm in the stadium, I don't like watching him play. When he gets on the ball, I think, oh, God, no. I don't enjoy watching him play.
Do you know what? I watched Nottingham Forest versus Villa earlier. Now, forget the result. Nottingham Forest literally camped 10 men and then try and bulldoze forward a few times. I watch them and go, yeah, Richie. Yeah, go on, Richie. You and Awonyi got up front together. Yeah, that's you. I watched Luton today do the same thing. Yeah, go on, you go there. There's not a chance this guy should be starting for a Tottenham team that have got fans talking about winning things. Iggy, is one of the problems going to be how do you solve that problem? The same problem that Arsenal are going to have now with Kai Havertz. When you spend that bigger money and people see that you've been an utter flop, what do you do with those players unless a team in Saudi come in and go, yeah, go on, we'll have him? What do you do?
Well, how have we solved the Ndombele problem? How have we solved that?
Right.
We haven't, because
Right.
no one's going to be stupid enough to go and get him. We're going to try the same things that we've done with him. We're going to send him out on loan in the hope somebody bites. Somebody says, you know what? And Nottingham Forest say, yeah, they're not going to give you the 65 million, but they might take him on at a cut price because they can see that perhaps outside of the top six, he can be useful. The problem with the likes of Ndombele, for all the talent that he has, he's proved yet again, whilst moving about different clubs, he went back to France, he's gone to Italy, now he's gone to Turkey, and the problems are still the same. It's him, and that was always was my issue, was him. I don't think Richarlison clearly hasn't got the same issues as Ndombele has, but I think we will be able to sell him to another Premier League team. I think there's definitely got qualities that will suit certain teams that you guys have just alluded to earlier on. And for those reasons, I think we can get rid, but we ain't going to get 65 million. Who's going to pay 65 million for that? We got done properly by buying him for that price. I think there was so many better players for that money around Europe that we could have spent it on.
Don Paratici? Are we laying the blame at?
Well, the
Don
thing is, I don't know the full process. Listen, but yeah, of course he has to take. If we're going to praise him for the signings that he brings in that have worked out, you've got to also blame him for what hasn't worked out. My feeling is with Spurs though, that in the last 3-4 years we've experimented so much and we've played just about every single type of football under different managers. Now we've found this brand, and it's not going to be suitable for a lot of players. Skip is another. I think you can probably we can go on and talk about other players that this is not going to. It's not going to be their football, but it's not their fault. You're right, still. It's not their fault. It's not Richie's fault. It's our fault because we haven't continuously played a brand of football. See, regardless of what happened with Postecoglou, however long he's here, one day he will move. We must carry on this style of football moving forward. The next manager that we bring in after Postecoglou has to have at least the same mindset, say, I want to carry on with this. And then the players that you have will, there will be a fluidity about it. I hope we don't do the whole 180 thing again, man.
Yeah, no, look, absolutely. By the way, let's move on. We'll move on from Richarlison. I do feel like I Richarlison and Kulu bash quite a lot, but Hey, it's
Savva,
just yeah,
Can I just say, right?
yeah.
Like, Richarlison simply just doesn't hit the target. Like, he doesn't reach the destination. I wouldn't be surprised if he was driving Arsenal's under-18s bus that went to the wrong town the other night.
What was
Do,
that
do,
about,
do,
man?
do you know
Just to give you a quick thing on Richarlison, yeah,
Brighton
and
and Bournemouth.
just to agree with Stel, right? So his percentage rate in the Premier League of shot accuracy, right? Because I did these stats the other day, is 34%, right? You can compare that, right, with Soldado, who's 29, right, and Moises Keane, who everyone thought was a flop, who had 42%. That is how bad Richarlison is.
30 whatever percent in an exam is an F. Just so you know, anything below 40% is an F.
He has the same percentage as Emil Heskey, as someone put in the chat as well. That's how bad he is.
But you know what?
Emil Heskey was a bad striker, man.
I knew what Emil Heskey brought to the team.
Yeah, but that says it all.
You watch all the strikers that played with Emil Heskey, loved playing with Emil Heskey. Yeah. They all loved him. I just listen. We'll move on from Richarlison.
At Leicester, Heskey was okay actually.
Oh, Michael Owen loved it playing for England.
Well, ask Michael Owen if he loved playing with him.
Yeah. Look, big up. There's 409 people in here. There's 177 likes. That's not even 50%. We're down as an F grade according to Stel in an exam in terms of likes. Smash those likes buttons. Subscribe to Tottenham Away. Subscribe to Savva, coys. Even if Marlon does guarantee a defeat tomorrow night against Chelsea. You all heard it here first.
I said draw.
You're negative, man. You're negative. You can't come on my channel and be negative. I'm the most positive Spurs fan ever. Guys, this has been floating around, right? Listen, I try not to really get involved on Instagram and TikTok and all the comments I see on Facebook and stuff. But there's been a lot of talk, a lot of shows, a lot of polls about this. And I think I might have spelt this wrong. I've just realised. So please don't. I think that might be right. Booed. You can go with that?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Okay, good. Just checking. It doesn't look right now. It's there. Why have we got a percentage of this fan base that feel that Pochettino needs to be booed tomorrow night? Equally, I'm going to throw it so it's at both ends here. Why does he need to be sung about? Why can't it just be nothing happens? Like, boo Chelsea, but why am I seeing polls about whether or not Pochettino should be booed? This is madness in my mind. Iggy, I'll start with you. You're normally level-headed. Why are we booing Poch?
I can only think because he's gone to a team that we're not particularly friends with. Look, he only ever promised that. Yeah, he only ever said that he wouldn't join Arsenal or Barcelona. That is the only two teams I ever heard him say that he would never join. Yeah. Secondly, I disagree with it. I disagree about booing him totally. He didn't get to say his goodbyes when he left. Mm-hmm. He wasn't given a proper send-off. We know the reasons as to why he left, or the reason as to why he left, and who is the reason to blame for him leaving and departing in the way that he did. So we as fans didn't get to say goodbye to him. I know, maybe so. Maybe you're right, who's news. We as fans didn't get to say bye to him. We didn't. He just left out the back door. See you later, never to be seen again. And he didn't. We didn't say bye to him. He didn't get to say bye to us properly. So for me, upon his arrival, once he comes out of the dugout and out of the tunnel into the dugout, I think he should be given nothing but a round of applause. I really do believe that. Of course, the moment the game starts, each to their own. We cheer our boys, and they cheer theirs. But I really do think he should get a proper welcome back to the lane, because I don't think he deserves anything less. He gave us so many good moments. I know we didn't win anything, and before all the rival fans start commenting, and I know we didn't win anything, but he was with us a while, man, and he brought a fresh, something fresh that we You know, maybe our generation has seen a lot more, but if you think of all the youngsters that grew up with Pochettino, man, that was like the best football they could afford.
They
You
had,
know,
they had it lucky. They
they
didn't have
had
to
it
worry
lucky.
about all the crap we've seen in the
For
past.
for me, I enjoyed his time. I enjoyed his time there. I think we was that last season at the Lane was some of the best football I've seen in a long time at Tottenham, and it was a long time ago now. But why? I don't get the booing. I don't get why we're even contemplating or thinking about it. Why having even these whatever you want to call them as to whether we should boo him or not. You should do what you feel. If you feel like you want to boo him, but I don't feel in me, if I was present at the game tomorrow night, that I would be booing him. At the very least, be indifferent, but boo, nah.
Yeah, it just, I mean, Marlon, I'll come to you. As I was reading these things, I first thought they were like spoofs. And I've been on with people in the last 48 hours that are talking about, oh, yeah, boo him, boo him. I don't care. If it was any other Chelsea manager, we'd boo. And it's sort of like actively going out of our way to boo a man that, as he said, you know, listen, it wasn't all plain sailing. At the end, it got a bit bad. And at the beginning was bad while he was sorting it out. But he did get to a Champions League final. He did get our best ever Premier League finish. He did get to multiple finals and semi-finals. Doesn't that make us look a real sad bunch of fans if that's the type of person we want to boo?
Look, as well, most of what Iggy said, I completely agree with. And what you got to also remember, he was twerking for us in the summer. He wanted to come back. And who's the team that didn't take him back? It was us. Do we expect him not to have a job for if an opportunity comes up, he's got to take it. And for me, I don't look. He said Arsenal, and he stuck by that, right?
Yeah.
I've seen Mourinho go back to Stamford Bridge. I've seen Conte go back to Stamford Bridge. They haven't really been booed in the either. So I'm kind of looking at going, we just got to take it as what it is. What he's just gone there. He's gone to manage a football team. For me, I wouldn't cheer him or anything until the end of the game. Once the game's done and it's all depending on how the result goes, that's when the fans should then show their appreciation and say goodbye and go, that's it. We've had to say it. But until then, there's no point booing him. There's no point cheering him. Let's just get behind the boys and go for it. You know, Ange is here now. You know, like he made me laugh the other day saying he's like the new lover or something like that in his press conference. And that's what it is. We're on the Ange train. Let's just get behind him. Say bye to Poch at the end when the game's done. Don't do it even before. There's no need.
Yeah, Stel. Round it off for us. Booing, and then we're going to move on to Jesus Perez. Booing Poch. I mean, I'll tell you what makes me laugh, Stel, is I was one of the fans. I didn't want Poch back. Yeah, I always thought that it ended for a reason. And I thought him coming back at that time, I don't see that he could have repeated what he had done the first time round. And I was told, oh my God, he was the best manager we ever had. And he's amazing. And you're so ungrateful and you didn't deserve him. Now, 11 games later, it's kind of like we've got a new girlfriend. And it's kind of like now no one even wants to say hello to the ex. Like, you know, we're walking past her at the shops going, am I allowed to say hello? No, okay, I'm not allowed to say hello. Like, it's mad. This guy, as much as I agreed with him leaving when he did and didn't want him back, he's done enough for us to respect him that we don't have to boo him, hasn't he?
Yeah, no. So I think this is one of those situations where you've just got to let each fan do what they think is best because everyone's got a different angle on this. So I wanted Poch back. When we never got him back, I was livid. But hindsight is probably a great thing. Mm-hmm. Looking at how we're doing, maybe we did need just a complete fresh start, a fresh person, a fresh way, a fresh culture. Let's see where it takes us. It's only, still early doors. But for me, and this is just my personal perspective, I'm going to clap him tomorrow night because we've got this really bad habit at Spurs of just cutting off people without them saying goodbye. We did it to Harry Kane. We've done it to players in the past. And the guy had to write on a tactics board in the dressing room, "Thanks for everything, guys. Goodbye." I mean, that's just low. I mean, come on. Yeah. What's wrong with Tottenham? So I'm going to clap him because I never got to say goodbye. And for me, I loved having Poch as our manager. Yeah, he made a couple of mistakes, and yeah, he should have been tougher with the board and demanded more so that he could have got us over the line. But It didn't work out. It's what made me Levy out. Poch being sacked is why I became Levy out. I'm not someone who's Levy out for 10, 15 years. It's the day we sacked Poch. That was my trigger moment. So I will clap him, but
I'm going all the way back to Martin Yole days. Me, don't worry about that. I'm going back to Martin Yole.
Yeah, I mean, this is why I said it, because there's fans that go back much further. For me, it was when we sacked Poch, I was like, that's it, I'm done with this owner. So I'm going to clap him because that's going to be my goodbye. And I respect everything he did for us because I had some of the best memories as a Spurs fan under Poch, even though we won nothing, like Iggy said. So I'm going to show my respect to him. But as soon as the whistle blows, he's the manager of Chelsea. I hope he gets sacked at the end of the game after we thump them 5-0.
But
Fair
do
enough.
you feel like, guys, that whether you could see the fact that people are contemplating whether to clap him or boo him, and why you even have to contemplate? Just do what you feel in the moment.
Because
And
Iggy, right,
secondly, the fact that those people are thinking of it, that means Pochettino hit a sentiment within every single fans. The fact that you have to react to one or the other, that means he hit something, he hit a call with everyone, and otherwise you would be indifferent about it, right? You'd be like, I'm not bothered.
This is because you've got some Spurs fans, and rightly so, they absolutely despise Chelsea with everything in their blood. Yeah. That anything you associate with that
doesn't have to change.
No, but for them, yeah, but there's levels to it. That's why I said, as soon as the whistle blows, I want him sacked. I want it to go badly wrong because I hate Chelsea, and he's there now.
Right,
but they can't differentiate that with still showing a bit of respect. But this is why I said at the start of my little speech to answer Sav's question, each fan's going to have to do their own thing. I've just told you what I'm going to do. But I fully expect there to be some fans clapping a lot, some fans booing from the off. I think you're going to get a mixed response for him.
It'd be amazing to find out, though, from Spurs fans, these Spurs fans who are actually going to boo him, how many of them wanted Conte and was upset Conte was sacked?
Conte there, we had the South Stand singing his magic, Pochettino, you know what I mean? Like, these are the same fans now, they're going to boo him because we're right now with Ange.
Chelsea link,
it's crazy.
It's the Chelsea link, isn't it? That's what's done it.
I'll tell you, honestly, opinions and mindsets change in football by the minute, don't they? Like there's no, everyone knows I love the term consistency. There is no consistency in football fans at all. There is nothing.
The fickle fans are fickle, man. It's just there's no two ways about
emotional.
It.
Everything's emotional.
Do you know what? It's like during the end of that the Liverpool game I was watching, people were like, "Oh, Liverpool bad, Liverpool poor," and you know, Liverpool can't do anything. And I said, you do know they've lost one game in 30. Like you are not a bad team if you lose 1 in 30. And one draw, and they're gone. You know, that's football. Next week they could win 3-0, and it's Liverpool in a title race, you know. It's just like football fans. But Iggy, you touched upon this earlier. Do you want to? What was you going to say about the comment that Jesus Perez made instead?
What's that all about, man? What is that all
do you want to talk through what it was? And
it's simple. It's simple. It was. I don't know if for those who don't know, there's a Twitter post that he put up of his. I'm assuming his 2 daughters. Obviously, they were younger when they were playing. Well, when he was at Spurs. And for those, some people said they don't know who Jesus Perez is. He was Pochettino's assistant. He still is. So
he's Chelsea.
Yeah, he's Chelsea.
Boo him.
So he's got 2 daughters, and there's 2 photos. One of them when they were a lot younger and were wearing their Spurs shirt and posing and what have you. And then now they've got more recent photo with them in their Chelsea top on. And he's put up a post saying #LoveIsBlind. And it's just, you know, it's very provocative. It's a provocative post.
Let's just all love each other.
Yeah, it's a provocative post.
What does that even mean? Love is blind. How does that link to those pictures?
Well, because they were wearing Spurs, then they're wearing Chelsea. Yeah. It's kind of like.
So where's the blind love? Kind of. What they shouldn't have been Spurs in the first place? Is that what he's saying? Or
no, I think he's saying. Look, I think it's just kind of saying that. Look, you know. We were once Spurs, we're now Chelsea, but we still love Spurs, and here's the proof. Look, we used to wear Spurs. I don't know. I find it funny.
What does the writing say?
Love is blind, man. It's love is colorblind.
Yeah.
Love is colorblind.
Colorblind, that makes sense. Okay, that's different. White, blue, I get it. Okay, love is colorblind.
Right, what do you make of
Those
that?
girls, I feel sorry for those two girls because if it had been
He's
the
trying
other
to win
way
over
round,
both sets of fans. He's trying to win over.
if it
He's
had
trying to
been
win over
the other
both
way
fans.
round, they'd see their club win trophies at that time. now they've gone to Chelsea when they're not very good. I say that less than 24 hours when we play them. God, please don't jinx them.
Can I say, why would you use your kids to banter or to make a point? Like you just frighten.
It's that's what I'm saying. For me, it's a little bit provocative.
Is there some parenting rules on Twitter about that? Like, should we report him?
Yeah. I mean, look,
I think deep down they wanted to come back. I honestly believe both of them deep down wanted to come back to
100%.
Spurs.
Yeah, I think they would have come back.
I don't, there's no doubt in my mind about that. So when you get these little things like that, there's like a little bit of salt in there, but it's fine. It's fine. It's not a problem.
I think the funny thing is, Iggy, the funny thing about Pochettino for me was people were so hurt that he didn't come back that when he did sign for Chelsea, there were people burning his autobiography. There were people burning their Spurs shirt with Poch on the back. 11 games later, we're singing about him being dead, right?
So bad.
And Postecoglou is the best manager we've ever had. It's like, wow, that changed
all
from July.
Summer there was photos of him. All summer there was photos of him playing golf with Ozzy Ardiles and all these ex-Spurs lot. Yep. And you're like, mate, how many more hints? Ozzy Ardiles was trying to get him back at Spurs as well because he's an ambassador and he was talking to try and convince, but it wasn't the right time. Listen, whatever. It's gone now. It's gone.
Yeah.
Do you think when Poch walks down the tunnel tomorrow night,
he might go to the wrong bench.
And he hears the roar. He goes to the wrong bench, and he hears the roar. He'll have a little moment to himself where he might just emotionally inside. He won't show us, but he might feel it should have been me.
Nah, these guys are South Americans. He will show you. He's not gonna. Of course, he's gonna be professional about it. But it depends how we are. How we are as fans. Are we going to be receptive of him and applaud him, like you say, or like I think it should be the right thing to do, or we're going to boo him? Depending on what reception you get, you'll respond that with your emotion, right? You'd be like, okay, someone boos you coming on, you'd be like, all right, safe. But if they applaud you, you'd be like, wicked.
But how messed up is this? Because if we were playing Brighton tomorrow night, and he was manager of Brighton, it'd be a standing ovation. And
yeah.
His face would be up on the big screen. Welcome home, and
Yeah. If it's not Chelsea, listen, just quickly, a couple of super chats. Big up first of all, Shafay Sajad has been a member for 6 months. Big up Shafay. Hope you're well, my friend. Thank you very much for all your support. Tim has said, "Do you all still have faith in Ange?"
Yeah. Well,
I don't think anything's happened since last week to suggest not.
Why do you want Tim? I'm curious as to why you ask. No, of course, 100% faith.
Sack him.
The manager, he's doing too well. He's making Levy look good. No.
The team and manager has never been an issue for me. Even with the bad players that we have, they're not the issue for me.
Get rid of him. He's built us up for a fall. He's built us up for a massive fall.
It's his fault. I wonder if all the people that have faith in Ange now, though, I wonder how many would put their hands up and admit that in the summer they were given the whole, he's from Scotland. Oh, what's he ever done? He's at Celtic.
I'll tell you what, Savva. I'll tell you what. We had a lot of messages from Celtic fans during the summer when he signed for us, and they were telling us, even though we didn't know him from Ange. We didn't know him. Like who we got. We knew that he had done well in Scotland, and they were saying, you guys have got a gem of a manager. They were telling us all summer about that.
Yeah, you don't realise how good he is.
Yeah, they were getting
it's why half our fan base is now Australian. And I've got so many Celtic fans in my chat every week. It's just like, okay, fair enough. Listen, I always wanted Ange. I was really, really happy. And you guys know, I've always said I feel we need a project type manager, and I think you need that guy who can put his arm around and kind of galvanize. But look, listen, it's all worked out, but thank you, Tim. Yes, the faith is I don't even think the faith has to be there all year. It can't just be, we lose a couple of games, there's no faith. I have faith in Ange, absolutely. But the question to that is faith for what? What do you have faith for? But we won't go down that road just yet. Lenny's Lifestyle TV. Big up, Lenny. What's happening in your lifestyle? What's going on your TV channel? Has said, Brennan, start for me. Hope the doggy is fit to play. Yeah, lots of the noises I'm hearing is that a doggy is worse than we thought. But you see this a lot, and then they start games. So we'll see. But Lenny, I think we're all agreeing with you, other than Iggy and Marlon, who definitely want Richie to start. No, just Marlon. Iggy didn't say it was just Marlon who wants Richie to start. But yeah, thank you very much, Lenny. And H, just quickly, I thought we'd ask an interesting question. So can anyone in the panel please tell me which manager who was sacked by a club had the chance to say goodbye to the fans?
You're right, H. You're right. It's bang on. Everyone's walked out the back door. It's like almost never to be seen again. Absolutely right. I agree with that. No, listen, this is an opportunity that we have with Pochettino. How we deal with it is on us. This is his first return since leaving Spurs, and I think we should do the right thing. That's my opinion.
Like,
And
I remember
I'm
when
not gonna
Ryan Yole came back with Fulham, his reception, he got back at the lane was.
But he came back with Fulham. He didn't come back with a rival
I know,
team.
but that's what I'm saying.
And Chelsea, and you're right. People's sentiment is put to one side because of the team that he's representing.
Yeah.
That's all it comes down to. In regards to the manager, look, I'll be honest with you. When we said we got Angepostecoglou, I was like, all right, cool. But I wanted the Zerbi. I said that all the way leading up to when Conte left. I wanted the Zerbi because I'd seen enough of him at Sassuolo and then after at Brighton that to say he was a good manager. And I told Stel as soon as Brighton signed him that he was quality.
I think I wanted Nagelsmann.
I wanted Nagelsmann too.
Yeah, you and the other fella in the Dutch
Slot.
league.
Slot. No, sorry. Arne Slot's the one I wanted. Yeah,
you wanted Slot. So
yeah,
I still want him. I'll have him after this guy. I'll have him after
do you know what? It's absolutely mad because, like, obviously, I don't know if you guys know this, but I do get quite a lot of stick on YouTube. I know it's strange, but I do. And loads of the people now that are like, "Oh my God, you don't deserve Postecoglou." I don't know what that means, by the way. When people say I don't deserve it, I don't know what that means. I was one of the ones championing him on the day that he signed, whilst people were coming in my chat tenfold going, "Oh my God, this is such a Spurs mentality. You wanting a guy from Scotland and from Celtic." 11 games later, I'm the reason we're not going to win the league. I'm just putting it out there. It's my fault if we don't win the league, everyone.
Do you know that the channel, the Big Six? There's a Manchester City guy on there, not Big Steve. He's another one. He's a regular.
Yeah. Louis.
Oh, I can't remember his name. He's a regular on that show, and he was saying, like, during the summer when they were talking about who's going to be the next Spurs manager, what do you think you'll do? He kept saying, I think a great manager for Tottenham will be Postecoglou. He goes because apparently he worked under the Man City empire of clubs, and he said, look, he was saying that Manchester City were actually looking at him as a successor to Pep, and none of you have heard of him. If Spurs could get him, it could be a real great move for Tottenham. And I remember him saying that, and I thought, what's he on about? Who's this? What do you know about Tottenham? 3 months later, I'm like, that guy, he saw it. Like he properly saw it, how it could work for us. And fair play. Fair play. There were
absolutely. Absolutely. Look, fair play. Look,
Huey.
Yeah. I said Louis, didn't I? Yeah, it's Huey. Guys, I want to move on to the next topic. I'm just making this up. 100 million we've got to spend in January. I don't know. With our chairman, you never know.
That war chest.
The war chest. The war chest money from 2 years ago. Yeah. Do you remember those times? Right. I've never seen if anything ever told me what I needed to know about football fans and about how we all read what we want into anything. It was that Spurs are going to have this 150 million, and everyone in their own minds made this leap from Spurs are doing all this with this money to, oh my God, they're giving Conte 150 million plus the player sale money, plus there's already 150. We're giving Conte £500 million to go and spend on players. And then we bring in Richarlison, Jed Spence, and Fraser Forster. But look, 100 million in January. I'm just going, and I've spelt January wrong, so I'm going to get that off
you
the
missed
screen.
an N. You missed an N.
Yeah, January. Jowry.
Jowry.
Wow, you can tell I rushed doing that. So 100 million in Jowry. Where does that money go, guys? For you guys, obviously we're going to have different ideas, and obviously I know it depends on who's going to be injured and suspended and stuff coming into January. But from what you've seen so far, where does that 100 million need to be spent? I'm being conservative. Daniel Lee, you might give us 200.
First of all, and I think we've pointed out already, it needs to go on a centre back because the Van Ven situation tomorrow would have been perfect if we had a decent centre back through the door. So that has got to be a priority. And I think even Ange said he wanted 2 centre backs in the summer in one interview. So we've got to make sure that hole is plugged. It's probably not going to be to everyone's liking who that centre back might be, but we need a centre back.
Please explain. What do you mean by this?
It's not going to be the sexy name, the big name, the tap sobers of this world.
Just say it. Is it going to be Lloyd Kelly?
And likelihood will be Lloyd Kelly.
Is that what you meant?
Because at the end of the day, how many English players do we actually have in the squad? Hardly any. Our homegrown quota is an awful mess at the moment, and has been for a few years, and we've never thingy. So you can see why they're going to go down that route. And he's not actually as bad as everyone's making it, because he's come from Bournemouth. Everyone's going, it's Bournemouth and this, that, and the other. But if that's the sort of defender that Ange is wants to work with, and he feels like that's the guy to plug the hole, then why am I arguing? I've seen it. Look, the goalkeeper will always, Vicario for me will always be the one that's made me go, you know what? I trust in everything that they're doing, because I didn't want Vicario. There was some suspect
Lloyd
things.
Kelly.
But it's not. Look, he's not as bad as him. Yeah, but
I'm not having it. I'll tell you why I'm not having it. I've got Bournemouth fans that I work with telling me you don't want
it. You always get these players though that at one club it's and then they go to a next club and then we're like, that's not the player we had. It's just one of them scenarios. Isn't it?
Okay. So I'm going to put a scenario in front of you, Marlon. Yeah. All right, I'm going to put the scenario. Now, I'm all for this new wave of.
It might not be Lloyd Kelly, by the way.
No, Marlon. I'm keeping a tally of all these things you're saying, mate. I'm remembering everything you're saying tonight. Right. So all these people like Marlon that are now, you know what? I don't mind who we sign. I trust Ange, right? Like no what now it doesn't matter. No one's opinion matters. If Ange wants him, I want him. We're going to go with that. I heard all of this crap under Conte as well, by the way. If Conte wants him, he's a winner. I want him, right? Now, I'm going to ask you this. If you sign Lloyd Kelly, and by the way, I say you because I don't want him. If we sign Lloyd Kelly and touch wood, it doesn't happen, Van der Ven breaks his leg and he's out for 9 months.
Yeah. If
the reason we then don't get Champions League is we concede more goals, I don't then want to hear, but you know, it's not Ange's fault, it's not Spurs' fault because we had to play Lloyd Kelly there.
No, it shouldn't.
You see what I mean?
No, it shouldn't be. If he's bringing, at the end of the day, if he's bringing in someone like Lloyd Kelly, he's got to be able to come in straight away and be the standard that Van der Ven and Romero have set. But at the present moment, we don't have it anyway. And he's not, okay, look, let's be honest, he's not going to be better than those two. We know he's not. But if he comes in and is able to, look, let's take Kevin Wimmer when he came in for Vertonghen all them years ago. He wasn't the best, but he was able to do a job for us for about 2-3 months. Why he did take Vertonghen's place. So it's one of those, isn't it? I don't know, but it's got to be a defender. I don't care. Look, it's got to be of some sort of quality, but I just don't know who it's going to be. And I've got a feeling they're going to go for English. And that's the biggest issue right now. When you look at English centre-backs, who's out there that's going to come in and plug that hole?
By the way, can I just say, just before I go to Stel Igy on this, look, I see these comparisons in football a lot. Like, I know we always do this. First of all, there's no link with Bournemouth. This is not, Ake came from Bournemouth, so that means Kelly must be good. I think Nathan Ake came from Chelsea, if anyone remembers, and was very highly regarded as a young player. And the only reason he didn't get in at Chelsea was because they had the likes of John Terry, Carvalho, you name it, Gary Cahill, David Luiz, right? So for me, it's nothing to do with Bournemouth. It's the same as when we sign a player from Holland and we all go, oh my God, but we signed Janssen from there, so no one else can sign from there. I don't buy into that. Stel, centre-half for you, is that I'm giving you 100 million. Where's it going? Is the centre-half a priority? Is Lloyd Kelly the best we can do?
I think the priority should be a goal scorer. we had this chat the other night.
Yeah.
I think our strength is attack, so double down on it. It's two schools of thought. Do you want to strengthen the defense in case the defender gets injured, and make sure that defensively we're stronger to protect any goal that we might score? Or do you want to strengthen the attack so if a defender gets injured, we've got more firepower to deal with the goals that we've conceded? There's no right or wrong answer. It's just down to personal opinion. But the way we play is very attacking. So I think you should double down on our strength, which is attacking. Personally, I think we need three players. One won't do it. We need a centre-back. We need a goal scorer. And then either a wing-back, because we've got no cover at the moment, or another midfield creative player to play where Maddison plays. That's what I think. But this thing about Lloyd Kelly, right? This is such a difficult one because we've signed players that we haven't heard of, like an Udogie, a Vicario, that all look like massive improvements on what we've had, and they've worked. But at the same time, I look at Arsenal a couple of years ago when they were building and they went and did like weird things like Pablo Mari and Vieira, and they're just not working. They're not working for us. Kiwior, Lokonga. They have moments, but they're just not what Arsenal are trying to do. And I just don't want us now, after that kind of good first 11 that we've built, rather than adding so that when a sub's made or an injury, there's not a big drop-off, we go and take punts on players like Lloyd Kelly. I personally don't want Lloyd Kelly. But Ange has kind of made his bed here because he's publicly said, I have the final say. We don't sign anyone unless... So if we sign him, either Ange comes out and says, hold on, I did not authorize that.
Yeah.
He keeps his mouth shut and then, right, Ange, you have to make Lloyd Kelly work now because you've told us you're in control here. So I'm so split on this Lloyd Kelly thing because I get what Marlon's saying. I totally get it. But at the same time, I've seen how other clubs have made mistakes in when they're in a good momentum like us. So I don't know. Lloyd Kelly, just for me, I think, listen, we didn't know about Vicario. We didn't know about Van der Ven. We know about Lloyd Kelly. We've seen him play in our own league. It's a bit like Richarlison. We knew what we were getting before he came, and we were like, no, please God, no. So
yeah, I listen, I agree with you. I mean, look, Iggy, we can go deeper into what we need after, but I just want to ask you with the whole Lloyd Kelly thing. Stel is right? In terms of Postecoglou has said everyone coming through this door is going to be mine. So, the reason I said the example for Marlon was we supported Spurs long enough. We know what happens, right? We know that if you buy in Lloyd Kelly, everyone will be going, oh, he wanted him. And the moment it doesn't, I'm not saying it won't, but the moment it doesn't work out, hypothetically, it'll be, oh, yeah, but this isn't who he wanted. It's Levy's fault. He's not being backed. I don't know. I just think there's much better defenders out there, isn't there, than Lloyd Kelly?
At the end of the day, you've got to look at it this way. We've got, at the moment, we're playing one game a week. So essentially, it is cover that we're after for the two players of the first team. So if Lloyd Kelly would fall into that, and the price seems to be a decent one at 20 million, and he fits in the bill to do what he's meant to be doing, who am I to say object if that's what Ange Postecoglou wants? But look, you've got Jerome Boateng currently free, no club. He's a free agent. He could be got for nothing now, as we speak. It can be got. You can literally call him, say come over, and he's free to sign. And that adds to experience. It will give you experience. He's got a lot of experience, and cover and covering for both.
Is it good experience though?
Jerome Boateng.
Oh, sorry, Jerome Boateng. Beg your pardon.
Yeah, he's got no. He's not affiliated to any club, and he's a free agent. He could be signed right now, no fee, other than paying his wages. You look at the past players that we've been linked to, Tapsoba, Bastoni. You know those are pipe dreams. Or for me, the one I like personally is Anderson at Palace. I've liked him for a while. I think he's a really solid defender, and I think he can be got at a really, really good price. And then he would fill into a rotational system.
That's going to cost mega bucks.
But do you know what? And then the other player, I think minimum requirement is 2. I think at the back, where we've just been speaking about, and up front. For me, we should be in a situation where whether it's a left forward or a centre forward, or if we can get a really good centre forward, let's just say Ivan Toney for argument's sake, and then perhaps we can put Sonny back to some feel is his favoured position on the left, then so be it. But I want essentially we want proven Premier League players, and I think players like Anderson and Toney, or whoever else, are ready to hit the ground running now. And again, and that's another thing, they will add to the quality. They will add also to the momentum that we are having at the moment, and also to us as fans. It sends a clear message to us all, because the only message we're going to understand is who's coming in January to support what we've done. First of all, to reward what we've done up to now, and then to say, right, this is now the 2 players who are going to help us to achieve whatever we set out for the second half of the season. What bigger statement can you make but than bringing those players in?
Well, Icky, this is kind of where, and to all of you, by the way, just have a
I
general
use
chat.
Tony as an example. If he's going to Arsenal, I don't know. I used him as. I used Tony. It could have been anyone. Tony was the first one that came to my head.
I understand what you mean. Look, I think the key thing here is, on the one hand, I don't want to go down the title talk route, because we will end up doing that anyway. So listen, lots of people are going, okay, well, if we're still in touch come January, it's all about what we do in January. And it's all on Daniel Levy. Is Daniel Levy going to back the manager? He never does. Can we get over the line? So what we're saying is, then, if we are 3 points off the top, if we are top and we're above Man City, and you go, right, we need 2 players to get us through this title challenge, and Lloyd Kelly is one of the names mentioned.
Forget it.
Right. This is my worry, is that when you get to the end of the season and fans like me go, all right, cool, you've all talked about a title challenge. And when I say you all, please don't take that so literally, everyone, before you say it's not all of us. When we get to the end of the title challenge, go, oh yeah, but we only bought Lloyd Kelly. But that's my point, is if we're talking about being a club that want to go from here to there, and I don't mean in 10 games, I don't mean, we've had a good 10 games. I mean, like, year on year, we want to keep pushing. And is that what Liverpool's buy? Is that what Man City's buy? And you've got to look at these clubs. These are the best clubs. Is that what these clubs buy? Because Arsenal have done exactly what Stel said.
Those clubs will go out. H is right. Those clubs will go and get someone like Federico Chiesa and say, right, he's not playing any European football right now. We need to get him, and he would improve any team. He's like, H, I would love to have Chiesa on the left wing for us. Imagine a team with Chiesa, you could play on the right or the left.
My point is, what Stel was saying just then was really prominent. That if you look at I know this isn't exactly what you said, Stel, but if you look at last year, Arsenal were clear top in January, and they went out and bought Kiwior, right? And the example we're talking about
and
now,
Jorginho.
What if Van der Ben and Romero get injured? Yeah, that happened to Arsenal. They went and bought a centre half. Saliba got injured, and then Arsenal went, right? Now, that's the difference for me, is if we're saying, yeah, cool, these are the players the manager wants, that's then going to have to, like Stel said, that's then going to have to sit with him. And what we can't then do is baby it and mother it and say, oh, yeah, but it's only Lloyd Kelly. No. You wanted him. You wanted this guy. I hate to sound like I'm picking on Lloyd Kelly.
No. But Spurs are going to have to do something that they've never done before. Like, and if it's not Lloyd Kelly, right, I'm just throwing this out there, but if it's not someone like Lloyd Kelly, they have to go out and buy someone who's playing first-team football right now, because that's the sort of quality that we're expecting. Otherwise, the drop-off is always going to be massive.
But I like Robertson. Is it Robinson from Fulham, the left back? I like him, for example.
Yeah, I like him.
And I think he'll be a good addition for the squad. I'm talking. So if you have an issue with the Doji right now, for me, if Robinson was fit, and I'd be like, yeah, I'll play him. No, and I wouldn't be worried about it. So these are the kind of players that you've got to sign players, first of all, that fit the purpose, the team that we want to play. Then you can add to whoever you want. I know there's people saying DeMarco, Eze, whatever. You've got to sign players that are fit for purpose, who are going to battle it out And actually, if you do have a situation with an injury, you got that player coming in, you don't think to yourself, bloody hell, the drop off is massive. You don't. You want to be we have a squad enough. Like now, Bentancur's coming back. Hopefully, he can find his best form, and he regains the form that he before he got injured. That's an addition. That's like a new signing for us in January.
Marlon, you said something interesting there. You said Spurs are going to have to do something they haven't done before and go and buy established first teamers, right?
Yeah.
What do you do? Like, if I was to ask you this question, right? So let's say Spurs are a 3-year project, but for whatever reason, we might not be ahead of schedule, but the way the season's panned out, an opportunity has arisen where we've somehow landed in a title race. Okay.
Yeah.
We're in the mix. Say that. Don't say that title race. Just say we're in the mix.
A race is the mix. Same thing, just different
Don't
words.
say
You're
the word.
softening it. I'm saying it for what it is. I'm saying it for what it
Don't
is.
say the words.
I'm trying to soften it. It's a
Don't say the
title race.
words. The jinx. When you say those words, you just literally, you might as well like that evil eye. Just throw it at it. You know what I mean? Just let it go, man.
Spurs
the mix.
are part of the cocktail mix. Right?
That's fine.
Let's just say an opportunity arises. Okay. Do you say to yourself, as a fan, I want Spurs to not worry about buying some really, really good players, do something we've not done before, go buy established players, stick to the project, and we'll get the rewards in 3 years' time? Or do you say we are 5 months away from doing something maybe none of us thought, a bit like the season Poch was in a title race, just like the season we got to a Champions League final? Do you say, actually, sod this project, because this has happened now, go and get me 3 really, really good players, and let's see where we go with it? Like, as a fan, what would you want?
But one of those 3 players cannot be part of the immediate future, which is going for it, strike by the iron's hot, but also be part of the 3-year project, as you say.
Because then we would have to do what Marlon said and do something we've never done before. But I believe the only way we do something we've never done before is if an opportunity arises and we smell blood and let's just go for it. Otherwise, if we do a project, I think Lloyd Kelly comes in temporarily and maybe another player that's half decent, and that's it. So as a fan, Marlon, and everyone else, what would you want us to do? Because each time we win a game, we are edging closer and closer to that dilemma.
Oh, Stel, that is a tough question. Very, very tough. And the reason why it's a tough question, because look, as a fan, I'll be looking short term and probably want them to go for it. But actually, with my head, I'm thinking, yeah, there is a project. It is meant to take about 3 years. Do you take the risk now and go for it and smell blood, as you said, and we don't have to listen about Nelson and Saha for the rest of the 6 months, as the Spurs have done before? Or do you think about it and go, actually, they've started something, let's see where it finishes? I don't know. I'm not entirely sure.
Can I throw a spanner in the works here?
But still, I open it. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Surely, if we're talking about, right, so the scenario is, right, that we're right up there. We are top. We are 2 points off City. I'm just going to say City because it will be them. And we go, right, if we bring in these 3 players that weren't in the project, but get you over the line immediately because they're first class, they're ready-made, first-team professionals that have been there, seen it, done it. Here's my question to flip that back to you, Stel. If those 3 players came in, let's just say, I'm going to use some players, for example, Tapsoba, Zubomendi in midfield, and Santiago Jimenez. Yeah, listen, Daniel Levy hasn't changed that much, right? That guy's going to be like 150 million, right? And Santiago Jimenez. So we bring those 3 in. They're ready-made. They're knocking on the manager's door on day one going, I don't care if Papa Sarr's playing or Madison's playing. I want to play. I don't care. Play me, right? Why would that be a bad thing? Doesn't that just speed the project up? That then at the beginning of the next season, you've got those 3 top players ready to go?
Because the way this is looking and the way that summer window went, other than Madison, we didn't sign a so-called top player. We signed these well-scouted hidden gems, whether it's through data analysis, a better scouting system, or whether Ange knew something we didn't. So I don't see that happening, Savva, just based on what I've seen in the summer. So for that to happen would mean actually we just need to throw the kitchen sink at it now. So that kind of links to what Marlon said. We're gonna have to do something we haven't done before, which is let's go get proven the real deal quality that's established as first team starters.
So let me chuck another question then. I'll start with you, Iggy. Is everyone okay for time, by the way? I don't want to eat into people's time.
Yeah.
Is everyone all right? Okay. So Tottenham Hotspur go out in January and we go, I'm going to use Tapsoba again. I'm going to use Tapsoba as the example. We could use, I'll tell you what, no, let's use Iggy's example. Joachim Andersen, Crystal Palace. So we go up to Palace and go, Palace, how much do you want? You know, this is how easy it is with Levy. They go 60 million. Daniel goes 60.
Done.
Yeah, have 65. I'm feeling generous. Have 65. Right? And some tickets to a skywalk. Spurs then sit down with Joachim Andersen's agent. The first question is, how much game time is he going to get? Right? Who's he playing instead of? What's happening to Van der Ven and Romero? Right? Now, this is the dilemma, right? This was the whole.
We're bringing the whole Kane thing up again now. The striker that wouldn't join us because Kane was there.
Right, but listen.
Now it's at the back.
Right. No, but listen. My point with this is, I remember during the Poch time when we had that 11. Everyone knows the 11 under Poch, and every time we went to sign someone, it was like, oh my god, why are we going to sign him? Dele Alli's not going to sit on the bench. What? He's going to play above Ericsson. What? You drop him Dembele or Kane or Son.
Look at Man City, Savva. Look at Man City.
No, that's my point. I don't think we can act like that anymore. But my question is, with one game a week, what happens? Man City can turn around. Man City can go and sign Jeremy Doku, who is brilliant, by the way. If anyone didn't see it, brilliant. They can go and sign Jeremy Doku and go, Jeremy, don't worry, we're playing about 70 games this season. We're playing 70 games a season. You're going to play every other 3 days. Yeah? If you're not playing in the league this week, you're in a cup that week or a Champions League. And they go, yeah. Joachim Andersen goes, hang on, you play every 10 days. If Van der Ven and Romero start, when do I play? How do we get around that?
Well, you've got to say, look, do you want to play every week at Palace? What are you fighting for there? Or do you want to come and play with the big boys? Right? We're in the mix here. We're in the mix. We're in the mix. We're in the mix for big things are happening at Tottenham. Have you not seen us play at Spurs? Have you not seen Angepostecoglou? Have you not seen the team we're trying to build? We are going places. You're going to play in a 70,000, which we, a 60-odd thousand, brand new spanking stadium. We're going to go Champions League football next season. We're building here. We are building here, and we ain't going to be playing with just 2 centre-backs. We might go to a back 3. We might play Van der Ven left back when Udoji's got cold and Sessegnon's pulled his hamstring again. And you might play with them as well. Or do you want to play at Palace where everything's cool, safe? That's how you got to look at it. And you got to say, what are you dreaming, big boy? What do you want? What do you want out of your footballing career? Every game at Palace, or do you want to come and build something with us where we're going to go and chase them big boys up ahead of us? Up to you, son. That's how I will sell it.
And Marlon, does that? Okay, Marlon, you're Joachim Andersen.
And also, do you back yourself to play ahead of those two? How good are you as a player?
Do you back yourself? The only thing that might us aware there's going to be a slight issue with that, right? And it's only going to be this season, is the Euros coming up in the summer, and how many of them players want to start playing before the Euros and want to be playing regular football and then want to be playing first team football at the Euros. Because Denmark still have a point. Look, Denmark still could qualify for the Euros, and Joachim Andersen, right, might think to himself, I want to be playing minutes before I go. And if he's not playing minutes and he ends up getting dropped by Denmark, he doesn't.
Or you can look at it another way. You're playing a little bit less, mate, but you'll be real fresh for the Euros. And let's be honest. He ain't getting dropped for Denmark. He ain't up against.
Hang on, is Iggy part of this new scouting network that Spurs are putting together? He's going to go in and negotiate.
I could just sell. It's simple for me. I'll put it back on the player a bit. I'll put it back on a player. Do you back yourself to play in a big team and to be up with the big boys? Look at the quality of centre backs you'll be playing alongside. Or do you want to stay over at Palace where everyone comes and goes and you stay where you are playing free every week? That's how you got to look at it.
Listen, I'm not doubting it. Listen, I'm all for it. My biggest pet hate is when people say, oh, yeah, like if I go back to the Lloyd Kelly example, when people go back and go, yeah, but he'll be happy sitting on the bench. I don't want Spurs signing players that are going to be happy to be sitting on the bench. That's not how Man City win their titles. Man City don't win titles because all of their players happy to sit on the bench. They win titles because they bring them in, they play brilliantly, they'll then sit on the bench for a game. The next game they come back in, they know they've got to play their arse off again.
If you create a team good enough, squad big enough and good enough quality wise, where everyone's kind of on par, then you can rotate without feeling the changes. You can rotate. You can manage the minutes that the players are playing. You got Stones and Aki playing 1 week. Then you've got another centre back playing with another centre back. With those two playing, they're playing on the substitutes because they've got another big game coming up. They manage the minutes amongst them. No one gets killed in the same way we was rinsing Harry Kane because we've had to play him every single game. You're able to manage it and not feel the drop off. Right now, we have to play with 11, 12 players because whenever the other squad players come in, you feel the drop off massively.
Oh, agreed.
That's what you want to. You want to reduce the gap between the first 11 right now and the squad. It's a squad game now. You've got 5 substitutes. I'll never forget that. 5 subs.
I agree. I agree. I'm just wondering how you sell it when I reckon it's easy to sell. If we finish in the top 4 and we get back to Champions League, I think then you're turning around and going, hey, look, we just got back in the Champions League. We're going to be playing every 3 or 4 days.
It's a mentality. Sorry, man. It's a mentality change. It's a mentality change. It has to change within the culture of the club. We as fans have to believe that the club want what we want, what the players want, and what the manager wants. And I haven't gone to a single Spurs game this season, and I'll tell you why I haven't gone. I haven't gone because it's not through my lack of belief on the players or managers. It's also to do with the bar because I think they're taking it. That's another subject. But wait, I waited to see if these guys come January do what they're meant to be doing. If they do what they're meant to be doing, if they're gonna back this. Otherwise, we could be just speaking hot air right now.
I agree. I
agree. We could be dreaming big, and can come January, you'll get a couple of kids from the first champion market closed.
Do you know what? Apart from, I think Iggy has adopted Mari's bad Wi-Fi. I'm not sure what's happening there. But guys, that's why I haven't to use that, to coin that phrase. That's why I haven't allowed myself to dream yet. There's so much still that I don't believe about how this football club is run that I haven't allowed myself to talk about winning titles like other people have. But listen, I want to close off for the last 5 minutes or so with some questions from the chat whilst Iggy sorts out his internet. Look, I just think before I do that, I just think it is really important that we learn from what happened to Arsenal last year, guys. I know we're not Arsenal, but it's very similar. At the moment, it's very similar to last year. We started like a house on fire. We've gone out. Again, last year, what was thrown at Arsenal was they've only got an 11. That's what's being thrown at us. Then when they had that January window and it was Trossard, who they hardly played, and Kiwior, who isn't good enough, you realised, did they make a mistake not getting over the line? Can we learn from that mistake? Couple of questions here. We'll just do some quick fire. Does the panel think that Spurs should put in a bid for Mbeumo of Brentford? I think he would be a great for us, though Brentford wouldn't let him go on the cheap. Guys, I don't know what you think. I think this is everything that Spurs need. I would love this guy on our right side as a forward. I think he would score goals. He would take his player on. I think he works hard. I think this is an expensive player, but I think this is perfect for what we need.
I think he fits the system as well, Ange's system. And I think because I watched again, like I said, I watched Brentford last week and I watched him yesterday, and I've watched him for a while. And actually now I'm seeing more Ange ball, more in progressive as the weeks go on. I'm starting to look at players differently now. Like I look at someone like Tony and go, okay, maybe I don't know how he'd suit doing an own system, but he does well for Brentford, and probably he would score goals for Spurs. But I look at Mbeumo and go, actually, he would be perfect in everything that Ange is trying to do. especially with Kulusevski and Richarlison, where they're not completely doing. Kulusevski's probably getting more minutes than most, right? So he's doing something right in Angie's eyes. But I just think Mbeumo would be like a great signing for Spurs right now, and I think he could play with Son and Maddison. I think he'd fit in like a glove.
Yeah, I mean, Stel, what do you make of Mbeumo from Brentford?
I totally agree with you guys. I think he'd be a really good signing for Spurs. He's 24 as well. He's young. He's got a good couple of years ahead of him still. He's at the age where he can be open-minded to new things in a new way, which is what he would have to embrace coming to Spurs. I agree with Marlon. He fits our system. And I tell you what, he brings that fear factor and pace to the wide areas.
Yeah.
And he scores goals. So yeah, listen, Mbeumo, that's that. And I think a real quality of his is he's Premier League proven. So when just like Dogi, Van der Ven, Maddison, Vicario, we got lucky that they all hit the ground running. None of them have got Premier League experience, but they hit the ground running. There's no reason why Mbeumo doesn't come in and within 1 or 2 games done.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, listen, guys, I think this would be a very, very good signing. And I think every Spurs fan would agree. Yeah, nice. We like this signing.
Iggy, before we move on to the next question, just some quick fire questions for the last 5 minutes from the chat. If anyone's got any questions, get them in. We'll try and get to a few. Iggy, people are talking about Brian Mbeumo, Cameroonian, 24,
quality,
17 goal contributions last season. This season, he's already got 8 goal contributions in 11 games. He's really stepping up. Him over Kulu on the right.
Why not? Listen, I don't have a problem. For me, as long as people that come in up the competition or even better or better it, for me, it's always good. Listen, that was coincidentally, that's the last home game I went to was the Brentford one with him and Wissa absolutely taught us a new one that day.
Yeah.
Quality player, man. And Brennan knows where the goal is and he's got a good feeling with the goal. And he's on his day, man. He could be a really good handful. And yet, most importantly, he's a Premier League proven player. So for me, someone like him would absolutely improve us on that. And you know what? It might give Kulu the kick up the arse he needs. Because right now, let's be honest, he's not really got a lot of competition on that side.
Do you think Johnson will go there though? Because he's just spent 50 million, and Johnson predominantly played on the right, and he's going to be back soon. So do you think that's going to give him the competition? So Mbeumo kind of is a pipe dream because we probably won't even try and.
Marlon, he started Johnson against Arsenal on the left.
On the left, yeah.
So to me, that says he's worried about the weakness of the left at the moment.
Yeah.
So I think if Johnson goes on the right, I think Kulu ends up on the left. I don't see it.
Okay.
I just want to see
because the alternative is so bad.
I just want to see us play with full wide players. With arrows, with the arrows, literally like I want to see a little bit more
with arrows.
Not so predictable.
Yeah.
I just see too much predictability on our wide players.
You want to see a wide player who picks the ball up and his first thought is,
mate, I want to be like this. When he's on that ball, Savva, I want to be like this. I want to literally be like right now. I'm like, yeah, is he going to cut in? Is he going to do this? I just want to see a little bit a different alternative. I'm not saying I want Kulu out because I do like Kulu. I think he's a good player, but I just want to see alternatives there. And right now, we don't have any.
I agree. Just quickly moving on to the next one. By the way, a few people are talking about Matoma. Carl did, Luca did. I hate to break this news to you. I can only imagine what Brighton would ask for in terms of a price tag for Matoma. I think Matoma's one of those you've got to get before he's known. I don't think Spurs buy. Same with Krashkilia at Napoli. These players are going to be, I think, 100 million.
We could have got him, Savva. We could have got him.
He was offered to us.
The manager. We didn't listen. Well, we could have got him for, was it 15, 20 million? We could have got him for.
But Napoli got him for a fraction of that. I think they got him for like 4 or 5 million or something stupid like that.
Oh, my. Yeah. It's Jack Grealish all over again.
So, yeah, a big up, just quickly, big up KPV, big up to channel member for 11 months. Said, big up, guys. Hope you're good. I'm going 3-0 Spurs tomorrow night. Bentancur will score the winner against Chelsea. You heard it here first. Okay.
I would love that
Bentancur.
KPV.
That is a standard KPV prediction, isn't it?
Do you know what? Benson could back. Guys, honestly, midfield, we've literally, it's like having another signing. If we can get him back to the level that he got just as he got injured, he was at a really good form. That's another, and we don't have another midfielder like that. He brings something else in that middle of the park for me. From transition from defense to attack, he's brilliant at that. So having him, bringing a centre back or a defender and a forward, that's 3 quality signings for January right there.
I tell you what,
Absolutely.
though, quickly on that Bentancur thing. I think going back to Iggy and the Joachim Anderson business, because we're going to have Bentancur back now, I think this is the time that Ange can go and prove, because the drop-off's not there now with Sarr there, and I say Højbjerg loosely, but to see how he uses all of them in the next few weeks to go, look, this is how I use the midfield, and I've got 4 quality ones: is Sarr, Bentancur.
Yeah. This is what I'm going to do at the back and the front. Yeah. No, I like it. Yeah. Just quickly, the next one, we've got 3 quick questions and then we'll finish bang on 11 o'clock in 5 minutes. By the way, if anyone does care, Real Madrid did drop points again tonight in La Liga, and Girona now sit clear of La Liga. And if anyone hasn't seen their left-sided forward called Savio, goes by the name of Sav, all Savs are quality. Go and check him out. He is brilliant. He is brilliant, by the way. That's someone I would buy. H has said, guys, would you have Dele back? I'll go first. Nope. I don't know what it brings now. I don't know. For me, I feel like it would just be emotions and sentiment over. He's not been a good footballer for years now, right? Let's face it. He's not there. Too much has happened. Hope he gets better, but
I feel like we've gone here now, and it's
a new era.
It's done. It's done. It's done.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Wish him well.
Absolutely. Yeah. Wish him well. I think people are thinking it's the Dele Alli that we signed as a 18-year-old kid. Cash has said, questions to the panel. If we sign a striker and put Son on the left, don't you think we would need a technical 1v1 right winger, because Kulu don't take on his man? Neither does Son. I mean, just quickly, guys, this is the big thing, isn't it? About people saying we need a goal scorer, we need a number 9, we need a Santiago Jimenez, a Tony. If that was to come in, does that just put Son back to the left? And then the clash is right. You've got 2 players that don't actually really take on their man. I
like Son to carry on playing where he is, to be honest with you. If we are going to get a striker, then he could be an alternative, or they can, whoever's, you judge it on form, and you can have 2 players, if we're going to play with one up front, to be competing for that place. Right now, Son is the main man, and the drop off behind is massive, because Vélez, we don't know enough about Vélez, and if he's going to be ready to take it. So we need an alternative. So what I'm trying to say is, I want to have a situation where we've got 2 players for each role and all competing for those spots. That's our top team.
Yeah. I don't see Man City fans going, oh, should it be Foden or Doku today? They don't care. Do you know what I mean? They don't care.
The mindset has to change. We have to start operating differently, providing the club believe in that as well.
The problem we've got? We're in a position we haven't been in before. And because of it, we're scared of a disruption to that. And should we change it, will it affect it? But that fear is what lies amongst some fans, isn't it? Like, you're doing well.
It's the mind. It's up here.
Yeah, and you know that. I know that. But for a lot of fans, it's a case of don't fix what's not broken. So if it was to begin to go,
you want to better it though.
Listen,
you're not breaking it. You're bettering it. It's different.
Yeah, but if you bring in a finisher, you're changing it now. You're bringing in.
Why are you changing it? What's changed?
But if you bring in a goal scorer, you want him to play, man.
He will. Who said he won't?
Well, when? Because we go back to the problem we discussed before. There's not enough games.
Well, with the Harry Kane. Before it's like, we've got Kane who's going to... And then that means you have to play Kane.
We were playing in Europe. We were in cup competitions. We
was also losing Kane for 5 months at a time for overplaying him.
Yeah, but we had Son,
who was coming off the left to come and play up front. So we was using a player that was playing on the left to come and fill in the hole.
Listen,
That wasn't filled. We was using another player to fill in the hole. That wasn't that was. Bring the players. You know what the manager said? The proper manager said, "Bring in the players. Let me worry about playing them." You give me the players.
It's not me you're trying to sell it to. It's not me you're trying to sell it to. I'm saying
you bring me the quality and how we play it. You leave it to me. That's what I would say.
Yeah, let's be fair. When Pep Guardiola's talking to his owners about which player I need, do we think they're sitting down and going,
I've got 30 quality players. Don't bring me any more. I've got a headache here.
Yeah.
Klopp, could you imagine? I don't want any more players. Please stop.
Pep and Man City got more to sell than Spurs. Let's be honest. They got more.
The point I was trying to make, which got literally assassinated from every angle.
I'm not assassinating you, man. I'm not.
Right. All I'm saying is there are fans that just don't rock the apple cart kind of thing. It's like just don't. I'm with you. I think I'm with you guys. 2 top players for every position, then we're bulletproof.
Listen, for me, I don't ever want to hear from fans. I think fans and the club as well. I don't ever want to hear that. Oh, we've signed so and so because he's happy to sit on a bench. I hate that mentality. That mentality is why Arsenal didn't get over the line last year. They bought in Trossard, for example. The geezer didn't get a game. Right?
Savva, we had a situation where we had Kane at least 3 months every season. He'll be injured due to some sort of problem. Son last season played through what we now know that was a hernia situation. Why? If we had had the cover and quality players, we could have said, you know what? We need to manage Son's game time. Do you know what? We're over squeezing. We're Harry Kane. You know, now we've got a situation where we are substituting Maddison. We are substituting Son. That would have been unheard of. It still would be unheard of now. If we've got the quality of players, if Lo Celso comes to life, you know, he can. I'm not saying he's the answer, but I'm saying like you can rotate slightly or maybe not play them a full 90 minutes every week because you have to, rather because you don't have the choices. So
I don't want Son on the left.
No, Son's a finisher, and he's proven that he can finish. He gets the service and scores.
His days of being a
he's got to play through the middle. I've been saying, even if we go with 2 up top, he needs to be that striker as well next to whoever else wants to come in.
Well, listen, we are going to end the show in 2 minutes. Before we do, I'm going to set a little challenge. We are 8 away from 11,700. Can we get 8 people out of the 330 that are left? There's 330 of you. I'm sure we can find 8 of you that haven't subscribed yet. I'm putting the link in the chat. Got 120 seconds. Just quickly, whilst I'm hoping to get those 8 subscribers, which I know won't come, let me get some score predictions. I'll start with you, Marlon, because you think we're going to lose. What's the score going to be tomorrow, Tottenham versus Chelsea?
1-0. 1-0. I've said
a 1-0 defeat. A 1-0 defeat.
Yeah, 1-0 defeat. It's going to feel like a defeat. 1-0 down, and we'll score in the last 20 minutes.
I just want to put it out there. When we don't beat Chelsea tomorrow night, I hope everyone remembers it was this guy and his bad vibes, all right? It wasn't me, all right? Iggy, can you give me anything better than a 1-0 defeat?
2-1, 3-1. I think we'll get a 2-1 win tomorrow.
2-1.
Yeah, to us.
Okay, 2-1. Stel?
I just want to say, if we draw, it's not the end of the world. That's not disaster.
No,
a loss is failure for me. If we lose this game tomorrow, that is absolute failure. But I'm with Iggy. 2-1. Only just though. It's going to be by the skin of our teeth.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really tough game. I'm 2-1, 3-2. Either way, I think it's going to be a lot tougher than people think. And I don't think we're going to dominate the midfield as much as people think. This is a big test for the likes of Sarr coming up against Enzo Fernandez and Caicedo. So, look, it should be a good game. It just leads me to say, and thank you for the one person that played the sub game with me there. Thank you for the one person.
Can I ask you a quick question before we go? One question.
Of course.
Who's the better manager, Poch or Ange?
For Spurs or in their career or what?
Who's the better manager?
I mean, you'd have to say.
It's a good question, isn't it?
It is a good question because
it's hard.
I think
why would you bring that at the end?
Yeah,
Don't answer
Yeah,
it,
like-
Sam.
Who's the better manager? For fuck's sake.
Another topic, another day.
Let's be fair. If I even begin to formulate a cohesive answer to that, it's going to mean another 30 minutes of the show. We can go through that next week when when the game has happened. And thank you to the person that just unsubscribed. So that was pointless. We managed to get 8 subscribers. We got 1, and now that one's gone as well. Listen, Stel, thank you so
I would
much
say
for coming
Ange
on, mate.
because he's achieved more with less.
Oh, we're still going. What do you mean he's achieved more? He hasn't achieved anything. We're 11 games into a season.
No, he achieved more as in his career. I think.
Oh, I see.
I
Well, this
just
is
think
what I was-
he's a bit more of an all-rounder. I think he's really good with the media. He's good with the. It's just been brilliant. Like how he's just rolled and everything. But
He hasn't
also
been
he's gone
levied
to
yet.
Scotland and he's won. He's won
Poch
everywhere.
was good with the media until he got levied.
Yeah, listen, this is.
I don't know. I just
Poch was good with the media until he got about 10 windows deep and was like, "Oh my god, this Levy guy."
What is this Nkudu? What is this?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Listen, Stel, thanks very much for coming on, mate. Really appreciate you giving up your Sunday evening. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no, enjoyed it. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
No, thank you very much, Iggy as well. Thank you, mate. It's a pleasure having you back on the channel.
Thank you very much, guys.
And Marlon, just quickly before we go, Marlon, things that Marlon has said tonight. Let's have a look. Richarlison should always start for Tottenham when fit.
Yeah.
Tottenham are losing to Chelsea tomorrow.
Clip it.
Lloyd Kelly is the best centre back that Spurs could buy.
Make sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And anything else? No, listen, Marlon, thanks very much, man.
Cheers, mate.
Marlon, I just want to make a quick promise to you, okay? If tomorrow, okay, we draw 1-1 and Richarlison starts and he scores our goal, I promise you I'll subscribe to your channel.
What?
What, you haven't?
Oh, Stel. No, you can unsubscribe for that.
So, do you know what? This is where I think everyone, when I say people should just slow down, it's like, look at this. And he will go on to win the league. Oh, Ellie, what are you trying to do to me? Big up. Listen, thank you very much. Everyone loved it. I think we've managed to go through a whole show without any trolls in the chat. I think that is the Football Heritage TV record. So if anyone wants to get in any last seconds abuse, you've got about 15 seconds to get it in. Be as creative as you can. Everyone, thanks very much. Big up, please. Perchy will be back tomorrow at midday for lunchtime with FHTV. He's taking that shift as he left me to do the whole of the weekend on my own. Big up to you all. We'll be back tomorrow night for a watch along. Take care. See you later. And as always, leave it out and come on, you Spurs.